Funsie. Guys, my mic is not going to sound as pristine and clean. I am traveling from Des Moines. We're in Buffalo right now. I'm trying to get home, which is why I'm recording on the road. I didn't want to miss the podcast, so that's why it might be a little bit weird. But Nate and Nate, that's why it's the second time I've called you Nate today. Who's Nate? Tell me.
Well,
Sajko.
I'm glad you said it and I didn't. Too many Nates in disc golf.
Sajko and J Mill have their same setup, so it's going to be clean, pristine, and we're mostly going to talk about J Millie, I feel like, anyways. So,
Yeah, you guys were in Des Moines, and I'm sure a lot of people know that at this point if they're listening. I wasn't there, but I was able to keep up with the content that was going on for the most part.
Sajko, you'll be invited next year. I'll make it happen.
Dude, please. I can't. I need to embarrass myself on hole 5. I need to make sure that I come up. I'm like, no, I for sure could get like a slow fairway driver there and then come up 100 feet short. And then I'm like, oh no, everyone just saw that.
Yep, that was how I felt the whole time. So I know that feeling for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess we'll start with that because that was a big deal. Like we talked about it last week before you went out, and you had your boys along with you and everything. So yeah, share whatever you would like recount the weekend.
Yeah. For listeners, we're talking about the Creator Challenge. If you don't know, I'd be shocked, but I'll still explain what it is. The Discmania Challenge was this weekend, which is previously known as the Des Moines Challenge, based out of Des Moines, Iowa. And on the Thursday before, they decided to do this thing called the Creator Challenge, which is essentially like the golf's Creators Cup, or like a Pro-Am pretty much, where they brought in creators to be the AMs and then the pros to be the pros, obviously. So I got invited to be on the creator side, and somehow I was paired with Gannon Burr, who is the number 1 player in the world. So
yeah, not sure if you guys have heard of him before, but
yeah.
Very
and
nice of them to pair him with Josh.
Yeah, I asked for him. So, little known fact, exposed. It was supposed to be at 6 p.m. on Thursday, and based on that, me and my homie decided, okay, we don't want to take Wednesday off, and 10 hours isn't that bad of a drive. We'll just leave really early on Thursday and make it by 6. But then they moved it to 1 p.m. because weather was bad, so we literally had to drive through the night. So I got 0 hours of sleep before the Creators Challenge. So that was definitely a wrench thrown into the plan of doing very well. But I guess apparently Hunter and Trevor from Foundation were also running on 0 hours of sleep. So we didn't have, I guess, that much of a leg up on the competition. I guess, spoiler alert, Gannon and I won. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we were the number 1 seed coming in, obviously, because I'm the GOAT and Gannon's pretty good at disc golf.
According to G-Star.
You sound almost overwhelmed by all the stuff that happened this weekend, or maybe there are things that you don't want to share yet that are like in the video that you recorded there. Is that
I don't
accurate, or is it just like, oh, where do I even start with this?
Definitely overwhelmed in where do I even start kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what you guys want to know or what the viewer wants to know. How I feel is I can't believe we won. It was also really cool. Sky Zone put $2,000 on the line, like literally as we were about to tee off. So I made a smooth grand.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's always nice, especially to help cover the trip costs and all that jazz. I guess to talk about how we played, they didn't show like a lot of the round on DGN, and a few of the people I've talked to have kind of complained about that. Yeah. And so, I'll give my thoughts on the event first. Cool. I think it was really fun. The spectator gallery was awesome, just like everyone cheering and razzing and yelling and whatever. That was so fun. playing with the other cards was a lot of fun. Filming a video was a lot of fun. I think they should, as someone involved, I think they should for sure do it again next year. Because every interaction I had, everyone was like, this is awesome. This is so fun. This is so good. My caveat to that is that I think it should be 9-hole best shot, 9-hole alternate shot. Just to maybe give a little bit more of a chance to someone like Simon, who was paired with James, who has never played competitively in his life. You know, like, especially when there's money on the line, I feel like it gets a little squirrely with the competitive side of things.
I don't know, man.
So,
James had some shots that he balled out.
James was really
steps up hole
one. Well, yeah, I was about to say that.
Like,
better than my drive, yeah.
well, exactly. He just, I think he stepped up first, right, and then just pipes it right down the middle.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I guess for people that aren't aware of the hole, there's a Mando right side, because people used to do like a big hyzer around the outside over OB, and they're pretty much forcing you to like try to hit a gap. And just steps right up. Yeah, never played like a competitive event in his life and bombs it out there. It was awesome. It was really fun to watch.
Dude,
The
James,
whole event was super fun to watch. I think it's one of my favorite pieces of disc golf media that has been put out, and I look forward to it more like in the coming years.
James is Sajko. James is Sajko in an alternate universe.
Oh, like if I went down the music route and played
Yeah.
like a little bit.
Yeah, 'cause
Yes. If you flipped instead of well, and you make music. If you flipped, if you were like all into music, and then instead of being all in disc golf and then just playing your geet once in a while, and the ball, yes, exactly.
So you're no stranger to like competitive play, but this is completely different, very unique thing that they have going on here. What was your experience like there? Like, did you just automatically, like, you're punched by the nerves? Did it feel good because you're around, like, essentially, like, all your buddies? I guess take us through some of that.
I kind of came in. It was definitely one of those situations where I wasn't nervous, but people kept asking me if I was nervous, and then I got nervous because of that. And then also, like, I've been in front of the camera so much in competitive situations. Like, yeah, you'd expect me to kind of not be as worried when I step up there. But it's like disc golf. It's my first time on Disc Golf Network in front of a pretty big crowd of people. And I still get nervous competitively. So, like, yeah, I would say pretty immediately I was like, oh, frick. I really hope I don't miss the Mando. Because in practice I missed the Mando twice, and so that was all I was thinking about.
No.
And so, yeah, I grittied up because it was just like, okay, well, we're supposed to be silly and, have fun and all that jazz. I think I was last to tee, maybe. I was either third or last, and grittied up to the tee. Heart was for sure pumping.
Oh, I see.
But I kind of was like, okay, I got this. And then proceeded to miss the Mando, which just was so demoralizing.
Demoralizing.
One of the funny things is, maybe Ben can attest to this, but every time I did something bad, Gannon was like not encouraging at all. He was just like so pissed off with me. I feel like kind of in a funny way, but it just seemed like he was so upset every single time because I messed up like a decent bit. I'm bad. But like I feel like he was just genuinely upset every time and not like, I don't know, I think I would have responded better to some encouragement rather than just him being upset with me. But
That's just Gannon. Literally. He's just a goofball, and he's super sarcastic. Like, I've been fired by him probably like 30 times, but like I'll literally like say something like, "Oh, like, yeah, I'm gonna get the edit up in an hour." He'll be like, "You're fired, bro." Like, that's just how he is. He's just that's his kind of humor, just being silly and just being blunt.
no, that makes sense.
So he wasn't actually mad. He wasn't obviously. he was just, I guarantee he was probably like, brah, Jay Millie, brah. Like, he's just being stupid. That's just how he is.
Yeah. No. I didn't
type
take
shit.
it. I didn't take it as like he was being for real. It definitely seemed like his sense of humor, but it was like every time I messed up, I was just like, frick, I don't want to make Gannon upset again.
Also, we quickly have to shout out, and I guess this is us jumping ahead. So one of the other creators that was there was Robbie C. And Robbie C. I immediately messaged him. I was like, this dude is good luck. So the person that he's on the bag for, spoiler alert, won the FPO division this past weekend. And then the person that he was paired up with ends up winning an MPO.
Wild.
What's going on here?
Robbie C is that guy. And they also got dead last in the Creator Challenge. I wanted to mention, so something, I don't know, maybe you guys can talk about this a little bit more, but like, I definitely think that they should show more holes next year. Like, or like more actual disc golf. Like, some people I talked to were just talking about how it was mainly Terry and Germ like the whole time, which is
just
fine.
roasting everyone.
Yeah, and that was hilarious. Like, I think
I
was
loved
needed.
it.
I think that was needed for the event. But I feel like, especially with $2,000 on the line, and maybe it'll be different next year, but like, I feel like some of the competitiveness was lost. Like like Broad and Silas are right on Jay Millie and Gannon's tail. Like, they need this putt to tie them, or or other way around or whatever. Like, I think it was still there a little bit. I watched back the whole broadcast, and it was definitely more. They for sure lean more into like we're messing around, we're having fun, let's talk about disc golf a little bit, let's key in on, let's do interviews with the players as they're out there. But I think, I was talking to someone that was like, I think it'd be better if there was on the field people, but there was still someone in the booth kind of breaking down hole by hole. And then like they would cut
That's what I thought they were going to do.
Field interviews from time to time. And I think I agree with that, because especially with the money on the line and like a whole trophy and a bunch of stuff, and it came down to one of the last holes. I really do think that storyline could have been leaned into more of, even with the silly everything else that was going on. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So it sounds like you're saying you want a tick less of champs versus chumps and a little bit more of a focus on the competitive side of it, because that was like the largest complaint that I heard was they would just like full on skip holes or like parts of like
yes
each card, or if that's what we want to call them.
You want to okay? We can continue this conversation, but I would like to mention that all of my good shots were skipped over. Only did it cut back when I was throwing horrible shots. I will give them grace, because I missed like a 5-footer on hole 9, and they did not show it.
Yo,
so luckily
they did show it.
Be in my video.
What? Wait, they did show it.
Show it?
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
I rewatched the broadcast and I did not see it.
Dude,
I must have just.
They did show it. I only know because after we all went in a group hug, and then I was like, and then I went back to watch it because I thought it was hilarious, and then I saw, it was like, it was weird. It's like you missed the putt, and then it cut to something different, like as soon as it chained out. It wasn't like a focus on you, but it definitely showed it. Then it cuts back to us group hugging. It was hilarious.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm going to have to look now. I want to see.
Yeah, go back, because you'll see you missed the putt.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was pretty horrible, unfortunately, but, Okay, what do you guys think, though? Do you think we lean into the competition side?
Well,
or what?
I want to say something real quick. Even bigger shout out. The FPO creators and player Kona, Hannah Macbeth, and Christine. Dude, first off, they came in third. Second off, I was so impressed. Obviously, Kona is Kona. She's like world class. But Christine and Hannah.
Oh yeah, dude, they could still compete.
Yeah, it was like Hannah. Christine, why did you stop competing? Or why did you why go off tour? Well, I guess for both of them. Why did you both stop competing? Like, I was like obviously it's nuanced. Hannah has like family now, and Christine, I don't really know. She works at her pro tour. I don't know what. Obviously, they probably make more money doing that. But I'm just saying, like,
did show it.
I was like, oh my goodness, especially Hannah. Hannah for like probably not playing disc golf. I don't know how often she plays, and I think she tried out the tour like years ago. I was like, dang, like she still got it.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I think Christine was absolutely nasty, dude. Like
they both were. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And
yeah,
they're funny.
and
Like
they
brought a dynamic that I enjoyed. Like just seeing like hole 5 when everyone, like the second shot for the ace run, they do like the Simon line, we'll call it. Like all of a sudden Hannah Macbeth steps up and like pretends like she's gonna do it as well, but then does like a normal shot. Yeah, like I probably laughed watching.
They were having fun. They were like doing squirt guns and razzing people. So that was like part of the fun they were doing, because they were just trying to mess the MPO players up.
I think it was missed on coverage, but yeah, they were squirt guns, they were timing, they were coughing and dropping water bottles. Like they were going pretty hard trying to razz. It was pretty hilarious because on hole 2, they hadn't really done anything yet, but they decided to start on Simon's drive. So on Simon's drive, Hannah Macbeth started squirting him, and he like turned around and he was like, I think it was more shocked than anything, but he
was shocked.
Upset.
No, he wasn't upset.
I know. I don't think he was, but
he was shocked. He was like, "What was that?"
Yeah, he looked.
It's because he didn't know what it was or who did it. He just felt water come from the sky, and it's like, what?
And it was so. And then like it looked like Hannah was like, "Oh shoot!" Like he's like actually upset right now. But yeah, it was a good time. Second shout out to them. I think they could have won. Like, unfortunately, Kona missed a handful of putts, but they were all dead center, just an inch low. And it was like, it might have been five or six of them. And they were just like perfect putts, just an inch low. And, if those fall, I think they were only 3 strokes off of us or something like that. Like, they definitely could have won, which is crazy. Would have been very impressive.
You asked for our opinions on it. I think they went for what makes the most sense, starting out like never doing something like this before. So I feel like this is the better miss, where instead you're kind of doing the champs versus chumps like silly angle, as opposed to if you're trying to take it too serious, and then you're watching all these creators and people whiff shots.
Yeah,
you're like, how do we like?
You're
keep
so
this
right.
serious?
You're so right.
I think you're correct in saying that they're probably going to focus a little bit more on the competitive nature of it, but I think it started in the right place, because it did feel like they've never don't have experience doing it this way before, but I think it'll be better the next time that they do it.
Well, yeah, and if you I saw some comments that were like, why would I want to watch someone shoot like 3 over par at this course or something like that? So I definitely think you're right. Like, if they're going to mess up, lean into the silliness would definitely be the miss. So I think it's a smart move by them. I would love to see a little bit more of the competitive nature next year. But yeah, with the caveat of it has to be silly, Like, I still think there's all the challenges. I think maybe even do more challenges,
Yeah, right.
if you can come up with other ways to spice it up. But maybe more check-ins. Honestly, I feel like all of this can be fixed with just someone in the booth, and then they cut away to Terry on the ground or Big Germ on the ground from time to time,
Heck yeah, dude.
So I've been to Waco. I've been to Austin. The events. I've been to the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. And I think I've heard pretty good things about the Des Moines Challenge, but being there, I was just like astounded. Like, it was by far the best event I had been to. I know you guys have both been to USDGC, so like I'm assuming that's probably better, but I'm not sure. But like, the course was super fun, super well maintained, just absolutely beautiful, a hard but fair course. The environment was a ton of fun. There was so much cool stuff happening, like literally at any point. Like, if you didn't want to watch the pros, like there was other stuff you could do, like, and there was always side events and stuff like that. Very well run. Seems like all the players were always happy. I think it has one of the biggest purses for just like a regular Elite Series event.
Cool.
So I'm sure pros are very pleased with that. Like, I was just genuinely like pleased with how the actual regular event was. And this was also kind of the first event that like J Millie stock was high enough that, you know, I had a media credential, so I could kind of do whatever. Like, so I had a media credential when I was at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, but that was still like, I kind of had to finagle it a little bit. I feel like I had to squeak my way in there. And so, like, you know, I was kind of like nervous the whole time. But at this one, it was more so like, oh, it's Jay Millie, you know, like just, get him some food or like whatever, you know, and that was nice.
That's
like,
cool.
Just being able to kind of walk around and, you know, follow the cards I want to follow, record when I need to, just be around. I think it was definitely a big factor of that was like that it was DMC. Like, I think they just do things right over at the Des Moines Challenge, and like there's just a lot going on, a lot of really cool things. Like the green of 18, there's like a little air conditioned place to hang out, and that is just so nice, so nice. So I wanted to give big props to Ty. He's the tournament director. He kind of put together the Creator Challenge, but then obviously put together the rest of the event. So he really hooked it up. Shout out Ty. I hope you do it again next year, and you better get Sajko in on it.
Please. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, and not me for sure.
Yeah, definitely not Ben.
Not Ben.
I was gonna.
I'm
ask,
sure part of it was that like people were like, "Oh, that's that guy that played on Thursday."
Yeah,
and
right.
won. You
Right.
know.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
Got carried by got carried by Gannon. So.
No. I was going to ask, is Des Moines one of those types of courses? Is it easier than you expected? More difficult? How did it feel being there in person compared to watching it live?
That's hard, because I definitely think there were some holes that you're like, okay, this is a little bit easier. But then there was for sure some holes that I was like, okay, this is harder than it looks on camera for sure. Like the hole that I missed the 5-footer on, I think it's like hole 9. I don't think camera will ever do the tee shot justice. Like, you are throwing into the ground. Like, do you know which hole I'm talking about? It's the hole where the tee pad goes
Super
right
uphill.
into the hill.
Yep.
Like, it is a steep increase. Like, the video does not do it justice, in my opinion. I threw from the middle of the tee pad and crested the hill by inches. You know,
Wow.
like I cannot imagine like running all the way up on the tee pad.
True.
I can't.
I've heard people talk about that. Yeah, where they go only halfway so that they can get like as much clearance as possible on that hole.
Yeah, that
What about
hole
hole
was really
3?
hard. Hole 3.
That's like the giant, like
The
go
500
to
foot one?
Instagram. Yeah, it's like 4, maybe it's 500. I'm not sure. Pretty much 500, like over the water, or is it like really downhill? It's hard to tell live.
It's really downhill, but I would say it's, if you know to play for par, it's an easy hole, if that makes sense. But to get it, it's definitely technical, because the wind is a very, very strong factor.
Yeah, right.
Like, Ben can for sure reach. I can reach it as well. But, like, to put it on the pin is very hard. But, like, to take a par is, like, yeah, just pump something out there with, 350, 400 feet of power, finish to the left, and then jump up,
Yeah, it seems very similar to hole 14 at Maple Hill, which is the Matty O ace from last year.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. I will say, I think that hole 5, like the ace, like the one where they have the hive and stuff, I would say that one's harder than you might think. Like, the wind off the water can for sure stall something out. Like, you could throw fairway, like you were mentioning earlier, and be like, yeah, I got that there. And then it's like 5 feet short. Like, part of the reason Gannon and I won the event is because Silas and Broad had 3 attempts to stick it, and they didn't all 3 times, which is pretty crazy, honestly.
Do you know what your nervous habits are? So, like, if you're in pressure moments, do you have certain things that you notice that you do? Like, for example, me personally, if I'm nervous, I like fluff shots all the time. Like, I think my shoulders come through early, and then by the time I try to throw, it just is like there's no power to it.
I'm literally the exact same way. I always short arm stuff, and I think it's because I'm trying to hit like my line. So like I'll slow it down, and then I just won't throw it at all, and so it'll come out early and really soft.
Yeah, because every single person that is there is capable of making that island.
Yeah,
and like even the sidearm that you threw, that thing was cooking. Like that thing was moving. It's difficult.
I played in a foundation video. Those guys are awesome. Came down to the wire, so you'll have to watch the video to see if Jay Millie and crew took down the foundation guys. I will also mention, you kept mentioning that I had my homies there. I brought my friends Anderson and Mason along, which was a blast.
Yes.
And I feel like all my trips to like disc golf events are just gonna slowly turn into like boys trips where like and like Anderson,
it's for work. It's for work.
Yeah, and like I feel like Anderson and Mason are always gonna want to come, but I also have taken my friend Jackson before. I have a friend Brandon who is into disc golf who would love to go. My friend Luke is also interested, and so I feel like there's a world where it's like Anderson and Mason, Jackson and Luke, and Brandon, and it's just for me to like have my media credentials at some event, and I just have this huge posse of boys following me around. Like, oh yeah, they're media, like they're helping me film my video, and we're just like, I filmed my video for the Creator Challenge during the Creator Challenge, and then we were there for 2 more days. And so I would randomly pop my phone out and record something, but like I was done recording. So like my media credential, like it just got us everywhere. Like we really weren't doing very much. So yeah, I just thought that was a funny thing to mention.
F it, dude. I'll come record for you. What the heck? The posse is insane.
Please, we just need to get a big Airbnb. We literally each night after the rounds were over, we just played the course. Like we played both times.
Heck
yeah, we played the FPO layout just to see what we would shoot. So it was a good time.
Anderson was gassing up the Glacier today. I was like talking with him on Instagram about it. Can you confirm that the Glacier is the disc or like overstable mid, or like what like thoughts about it? What are we thinking? Because haven't really heard anyone talk about it. I feel like
would say that it's good.
Okay, that's a riveting recommendation coming from
Chili
Millie.
I like the reason I'm saying it like that is because so my like straight to stable mid-range game was very weak before this weekend, and I came out of this weekend with a Glacier, a Sully Tipton Quake, and a Balance. And so far, I've thrown the Quake the best.
Yeah, that's because the Quake.
The Quake is that slight Tipton Quake is amazing. Yeah,
it's fire. I definitely like the Glacier a lot, but how I feel is like the verdict is still out. Like I need to commit to it a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's a really good disc. I'm just learning it. It for sure feels like the Quake is a tick more stable than the Glacier, and then the Balance is a tick more stable than the Quake.
Awesome.
That's how I feel.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Riveting information.
Let's get into the stories.
All right. I mean, I'm finding it interesting getting like the inside scoop on stuff. But I did put out something on my story today asking people for, how did I word it? Their most unpopular disc golf opinions. So essentially opinions that people have that may not be popular amongst the disc golf community, but for them, like, that's what they believe in. Where do we start? I got a lot of people that were writing in on this one. Grown men winning MA4 through MA2 did not actually win anything.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Shoot.
That is crazy.
That's like,
what do we think about
that's a pretty valid opinion. Okay, here's how I feel. I kind of have that opinion as well, because there have been times where I have ran into someone and, you know, I was a little bit better than they were, and they were like, "Oh, when did you start playing?" And I was like, "Oh, 2020." And they're like, "I've been playing since 1970." And I'm like, "Whoa, how have you been playing since 1970 and you can't throw over 200 feet and it's fun for you?" And no hate to them, very much respect that you've stuck with it and, you know, really enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a little bit shocked. That being said, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I feel like if that's their skill level, then you got to give it to them. You know, like if they are playing in the division that they should be in, then you gotta, like, they won. You know, that's how I feel. I do have a similar feeling though. I'm like, man, really? Like, really? That's where you are. But I do think you have to give them the win. Like, that's how it is.
I think it all depends on the mindset of the person that won. So if going out there, it's through the lens of just trying to be competitive in your local area and have something to work towards, that's cool. If you're going around to others being like, "Yeah, I've won tournaments. Yeah, I've won probably like 7 tournaments in MA2, MA whatever."
Yeah.
Like, it's like the typical guy that comes in unsolicited being like, "Yeah, I shot 7 deer this past weekend." And you're like, "Didn't ask. Honestly, I don't care." I'm like, it's cool that you care. I'm sure it means something to you. No one else around you, really.
Well, that's why they have like MA40 and MA50 and MA60 as well, right? Like, that's where those people should funnel to, maybe.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't disagree with what he's saying. Of course, like, as we say in here, take that with a grain of salt, because disc golf means something different to everyone. But
True.
To brag about that is bizarre. Yeah, I don't know how we move on from that, honestly.
I think it's just the skill level.
Ben, how do you feel?
I think it's fine if it's the skill level. Like, if you're MA4 worthy, then, like, yeah, be happy about winning MA4, MA3. I think it's just according to your skill. So I think you can still be an adult and win those divisions and still be happy about it, because, like you said, a disc golf's for everyone. Some people might just, like, want to be MA4, and I know people that don't even care. Like, they like winning MA4, MA3, and they're a Sunday driver. You know, they're on the weekends, and it's, like, you know, fun for them. So I think, yeah, it just depends on the scenario. If it's like a sandbagger, then that's a difference. But if it's like a dude genuinely in MA2, MA3, and even if he is 40, 50, whatever, like, I don't know. Don't yuck someone's yum.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing in those divisions, but if you're bragging about it, I feel like that's a weird flex to do.
If you're like one time Elite Series winner,
or if you're over it. You mean one-time creator champion?
Yeah, get it right.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see what I did? I bet you didn't.
No.
I am the one-time spoiler. Go watch Alden's vlog if you haven't already. Even though you probably know what I'm gonna say, but Go watch it. Click off Funsie. But I'm one-time world champion pizza box tosser.
Ah, I didn't
No
even.
kidding. The annual
didn't
pizza
see that.
box toss?
Yeah, I won it this year.
That's sick. I mean, they've been doing that.
pretty-
It's like the third
pretty
year that they've
legendary.
done it or something like that.
So I'm Mr. One Time.
That's huge. Well, hey, I'm proud of you for your accomplishment.
Thank you.
All right, next one. The Disc Golf Pro Tour is actually really well run, especially in the world of niche sports.
Honestly, like, I'm kind of in the boat as well. Like, I do think they have their issues, but like in terms of like the amount of viewers that as a sport we have, like there have been multiple times where people were like, "Oh, this about the Pro Tour, that about the Pro Tour." I feel like they've just been selected as the enemy, like the public enemy, the villain, like kind of like Prodigy or even Dynamic Discs. Like they got selected as the enemy / villain, and so now, like that's what everyone accepts them as, and so like they kind of get harped on for things that might be, being let go by other brands or whatever. So I think I agree with this opinion, honestly.
It's really easy for them to be the scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they are showcasing the sport at the highest level, whether there's like a weird OB stake or there's just countless things that could always fall on the entity that is the Disc Golf Pro Tour, as opposed to maybe like individual parts of it. Because in disc golf, a lot of people are very close. So I think just to like, just blame it on Disc Golf Pro Tour. That's like the easy thing to do, even though. I mean, the things, I don't know if you've ever seen like this setup that like some of these camera guys have, but they're doing a lot with a little, which is very impressive that they're making it happen. It's very DIY, not DIY, but like they're getting it done is the point. And they're putting out a product that everyone will always tear it apart. I feel like that's the nature of sports and media and news, but we're all watching it at the end of the day.
Pro Tour, they get all the flag, but they've done literally everything for disc golf, so they get some flag they don't deserve. Some they do, but they're doing a great job. So sometimes it's just easier to blame the entity rather than look inside yourself and be like, who's the real enemy here?
Brand loyalty is really dumb from a competitive perspective.
I agree with that. I think the only reason someone should throw one brand is if they're sponsored. I think that is the only valid reason to throw one. One maybe case I could see is someone with MVP. Like genuinely, like I think that MVP discs are superior and go farther and are more accurate. Like I could see someone making that case, and I would be like, all right. Like, I can see why you would only throw MVP if that's the case. But other than that, like, I don't agree. Like, I think there are good discs with every brand. Okay, maybe another case
you
is
keep going
like,
back and forth.
Well, another case could maybe be like, they really support what the brand stands behind. So, like, someone who only throws Trash Panda. Like, I could also see a case for that, like the recyclability, the good for the planet. Like, they only throw Trash Panda because they don't want to harm the planet by supporting another brand. So
right.
I see some valid arguments, but I feel like for the most part, the people I see doing it are people who are like trying to get on some street team or some ambassador team or be sponsored or whatever. And I think you are missing out on some really good discs from other manufacturers. And I think you are missing out on a lot of the fun that comes from trying out a new disc, a new plastic, a new whatever, by, staying so brand loyal.
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to play a
disagree.
little bit of devil's advocate. I will say initially, yeah, I agree with all the things that you're saying, Josh.
Yeah, if you're not sponsored, I agree.
You heard it here first. So devil's advocate, I'm going to say that if you are someone that is trying to learn discs and even just things as confusing as flight numbers, I do feel like there's value in potentially sticking with a single brand, which you're not going to do that. Like, you're going to just go around and try a bunch of different discs. But I could see a world where if someone stuck with a single brand, I feel like you could compare flight numbers between discs within a single manufacturer. It's easy to compare those things and find a disc that probably more so caters to you and your skill set. I also know of people that do different. They have like bags for each manufacturer. So like they do
that's
like
really interesting.
I've never heard of that in my life.
And I feel like something like that comes from something like, if anyone's ever played like card games like Magic the Gathering or something like that, there's, to put it in short, there's all these different like color combinations that you can make, and you can make a ton of different decks, and whatever you're feeling that day, you can play with your buddies. I think it's probably kind of similar, and I'm sure it makes it fun. Just to be like, okay, I've played this course 1 billion times. Let's use this bag today and see if I can how I can shoot. But yeah, if you're not getting paid to do it, don't. There's plenty of discs out there.
I mean,
Find
look at
these
look at these discs behind me, man. Come on,
yeah,
who doesn't love that?
This broad reach that's just right here on my desk. That is secretly, it tries to be like a, let's call it a destroyer number, but it's for sure like a sidewinder.
More
Like a faster
understandable.
sidewinder.
Wait, who threw that? Wait, it was Mason on hole 2, Jay Millie at Des Moines. He's like, oh, let me try out this reach, and it just like rolled. It turned into a roller.
Oh, Mason told that to Broad? I don't even.
No.
remember that.
When we were playing hole 2, he's like, oh, let me try this out real quick. It was he threw the reach. Sorry if I'm delayed, guy, or it sounds like I'm interrupting you. It's like delayed on my end, so.
You're good, man. Yeah, I'm doing my best to get that room so that you can give your input. But yeah, feel free to come in at any time.
You'll be home soon, right? We'll be back to the regularly scheduled.
Yes, I'm 6 hours away, which is why I'm on my phone, because you're supposed to be driving. But believe it or not, we're not driving anymore, so it didn't even matter. But it's okay. I'm 6 hours away. I'm gonna try and knock out as much as I can after this podcast.
Now, Ben is
Sweet.
secretly pulling Pokemon cards right now as we're recording, for sure.
Dude, that was my first booster box ever, Sajko, and I pulled Gloriousness. And then I bought 3 slabs. I don't know what I'm thinking. What am I doing? If anyone pulls Pokemon, let me know. Actually, fun Pokemon story. My brother is into Pokemon, and my first ever Pokemon pack that I ripped, I got like a really good card. It was like a Lowland Executor. He got it for me for Christmas from like a gas station, so that was my first, and then I bought a booster box. So like, I don't know, I'm 2 for 2 on the hits.
99% of people shouldn't throw higher than 9 or 10 speeds.
I actually agree with this take, because I have recently realized that when I throw a 9 speed versus when I throw a 12 speed, I don't know how much more distance I'm getting. I don't think it's very much more. And I can throw pretty far. Like I can hit 450, I can hit 475, and I don't know if I'm getting much more distance with a driver versus a 9 speed. So I think I might agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's heard of this disc before, but the Trail, am I saying that right? The MVP Trail? They go
super niche.
They go, if you've never heard of it, they go very far. And I even ended up putting one of those like original Simon, like after, a couple episodes ago, where we found out that the time lapse is a larger version of the Trail mold from MVP. I do have one of the like fission time lapses, and I put it in my bag. It's pretty flippy, but fun frisbee. If you're liking how the Trail flies and it goes really far, it flies pretty much the exact same way if you get the fission plastic one. So try it out, brother.
Try it out, man.
Do I agree with what this person is saying? Yeah, I don't think people have to, but of course they're going to. So I've talked about it previously. I feel like, yeah, you should just put distant drivers in your bag, because how else you're going to get better at throwing them. But I think you should also just like have realistic expectations about, okay, maybe I'm throwing 250 right now. Like, yeah, the 9 speed will probably go farther for you. you can still like you throw a Funsie and then throw like the 12 speed and get in reps and figure stuff out, all that good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. What am I getting off of like a distance driver versus like a 910 speed, like 25 feet or something pitiful? Ooh, this is a wild one. But I know a lot of people that have this. If you throw a disc over / into water and don't go get it, it's not yours anymore. It's whoever gets it. Like if someone dives / rakes it out, them getting it back to you is going way above and beyond. I've heard many, many, many people say this.
I low-key, here's my opinion. I actually have kind of stopped putting my name and number on disc just because
100K.
Yeah, I've got 100K now. Don't want any weirdos or whatnot.
I actually have a hack. I still put my name and number, but I put an alias. That's the hack to get your disc back.
Okay, maybe I'll do that. But my opinion is that I hope someone gets it back to me, but I understand if they don't. Like, I am fine with it if they don't. And so, like, I think I kind of agree with this point. Like, I left it, like I couldn't find it. Like, I pretty much littered, like if you think about it, when you leave a disc,
plastics into the
when you leave a disc on the course, you are littering. Like, to someone that is trash, like they would find it and be like, why did someone leave this plastic on the course? Let me put it in the trash. So, like, I don't know. My opinion is
they're just like, oh, what's this trash? And you're like, duh, no,
not the new more 4. But yeah, I think my opinion is that I agree with this take. Like,
I disagree.
I hard disagree with that take.
I hard disagree. It's your property. If you don't have, here's what I'll say. If you don't have a name on it, it's that person's, whoever finds it. I'm sorry, like, you just put your name on it. Like, it's now their property because they have no idea how to get it back.
Yeah,
but if there's
laziness.
And I do that sometimes. There was a period in my life where I just didn't put my name on anything, not because I didn't want to get like recognized or whatever, but I was just like lazy because I would lose so many discs. Well, I guess that's still this period. But then I would be like, oh, I would put a new one in and not want to do like the Sharpie on 4 discs. So I'd be like, oh, let me just throw it. It's fine. I won't lose it, and then I'll lose it. So then that's fair game. But if it has my name and number on it, then yeah, you got to return it. But here's a crazy thing that I'm finding myself doing. I'm starting to get bitter. Like,
ooh.
I get probably less than 5% of my disc back. 10%.
Wow.
So like, I'm starting to get bitter where like I'll have someone's disc, I'll find it, and like most times, I'll put in the lost and found. But sometimes I just put it right on top of the basket and be like, you know what? Like, I found it. Let's see if the next person returns it. So not saying that's a good thing. I think that's a toxic thing to do. But sometimes, you have too many discs in your bag. That's really when I do it. Most times where it's just like, I don't have room for it. But like a part of me is like, bro, like I don't even get any of my discs back. Like, what does this guy deserve? Like a small part is like, oh, dang it. But you know what they say, what good things come around or whatever it is. So I try my hardest to actually get the disc back and actually return them because, that's what I would personally want. But there's that small, evil, like 2% side of me that is like, dude, and it's crazy. Pros do not give a crap about this they find. They will chuck it in the water. That is what I've noticed. They will literally find it and be like, oh, like, let's see if I can do a 360 backflip roller with this disc. Like, they treat it as if it's like a toy that they just found. Like, that's another crazy thing. I'm not that bad, but like, yeah.
Dude, that's amazing.
Shout out to this guy named Mike, who's local to me.
Mike?
In one of my videos, I lost my putting putter. He messaged me. He found it in some local shop in the used bin. And I was like, dude, what the heck? That's so awesome. It was like a special disc to me. And he returned it to me. I kid you not. I lost my treasured Halo Destroyer 2 weeks ago. Mike messages me and is like, dude, just found this. Like, this is yours, right? Because he sees that I do my little JM on all my discs. So Mike has been hooking me up.
That's cool.
Because I guess, like you said, and he's done twice now with like discs I really like. So
Shout out
Nice
Mike.
plug.
W Mike.
shout out Mike. W Mike.
Mike's the homie.
W's in the chat.
Next one.
Yeah. No, wait, Sajko, are you of the same take as Ben?
I'm
or
of the
what?
same take as Ben, where, if you don't write your name on it, I mean, that's just sheer laziness. Just take the time to do that. Otherwise, you didn't actually care about that disc in the first place, even though you're like, oh.
True.
Tough cookies.
Yeah, tough cookies. Anyone that takes the time to get in there, I don't know. I don't feel like there should be an expectation that you have to go dive in the water to be able to get your disc. Like, water features are a part of disc golf, and of course you're going to lose discs, but it doesn't mean that you want to, or that someone else is deserving of the disc just because they have.
But I don't even understand. Yeah, take the time to, like, that person is literally just doing that for profit, or like they're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it
Respect
either
the
just
hustle.
no. But I'm saying, like, I don't get the phrasing take their time to, as if they don't have like a ulterior motive for doing that. Like,
That's true.
I'm saying if they keep it or if they don't return it. Like, if they're actively going in there to return this and being a kind person, then they're going to return this. But if you're going in there not to return the disc, there's no good reason using your time to go in there, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like they're using their time. Like, yes, they are, but it's for their benefit, which you're not going to get the disc anyways, I guess, because they're going in there with the intention of not returning your disc.
No, I think that's pretty
True.
well said. I mean, that's pretty much sums up my thoughts as well. Next one. The PDGA is hurting disc golf's growth, is what this person said.
That's crazy.
Does anyone want to touch this one?
Disagree. I disagree, man. Like, what? That's just like DGPT and PDGA are a common, like, punch bags, especially the PDGA as of recently. It seems like, they've gone through it with the public opinion where it's like people are like, oh, like, it's just they're the easy ones to blame, is what I'm saying. But to say that they don't grow the sport is crazy. I don't know. It's just like, even if they're not doing the best job, it's not like they're not growing the sport, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not like they're just doing everything to not grow the sport. Like, they're doing everything they can, even if it's like a 50% job, 70% job, whatever you think it is yourself, but they're still growing the sport, in my opinion. And I don't know. It just, I don't know. Some people just hate them, but, like, it's nuanced, I guess. I don't know. I guess there's good things and bad things for both that they do and don't do. So,
Josh, any thoughts?
I think that they do more good than bad.
that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Josh.
I think they could improve, but, like, we can all improve. Like, ESPN can improve. Like, I disagree with the take, but yeah, I do think there are a few ways that the PDGA could be doing a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. That, if my brain functioned normally and I didn't have to do run-on sentence, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
That's incredible. I feel like it's just a really popular thing right now, especially amongst, like, the public perception through media outlets to crap on the PDGA. So I feel like a lot of people, even myself at times, like in my time in disc golf, where you're like, yeah, that's now my opinion, as opposed to getting involved with the organization or like voting on certain things or just trying to, like, learn what they're actually doing. I do think
they should update their website.
Yeah, like, it's just a common example, I feel like, of they're not communicating what they're doing effectively with their audience. So even if they are doing cool things, people might not have any idea about it because they're using, there are outlets out there probably that they're putting out that information, but maybe it's just not up to date with how people are, let's be honest, like, how people are getting their news.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, while one positive thing that I can like praise about the PGA, and is actually just about one guy, is Doug Bjerkes, the new executive director.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've hit him up.
Dad.
Yes, I've hit him up 2 times to come on the podcast to explain things, and one of them's the anti-doping. So, and it's been like, yeah, I'd love to come on. It's never like I gotta go through some avenues. Like, maybe send me the questions beforehand. It's always been a yes, like, let's do it. So I think that anti-doping interview we're trying to get for next Monday. Not anti-doping, you know what I'm saying? The world's
I know what you mean.
The world's drug testing. He was like, I texted him like, hey, could you come on and clarify? He was like, yeah, I'd love to. So I think that's like a cool where Doug, the executive director, is at least making an attempt to be transparent and not afraid to talk about kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
Is any drugs in the system gonna get people disqualified?
I don't know. They mentioned,
Yes.
I feel like the only thing that they mentioned
weed?
were. Well, yeah, they mentioned cannabis. So.
Oh, there are gonna be some people that are screwed.
I've heard,
Dissolve.
like, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard Adderall too. You can't, like, if you are prescribed Adderall, you can't take Adderall.
Interesting.
That's what I've
Wow.
heard. That is a Funsie fact. I heard it from like a good
Yeah.
source, but
Not confirmed.
like, yeah, like I haven't looked at the exact papers, but yeah, that I thought that was like, because the person obviously takes Adderall and is going to be at Worlds, and they're like, yeah, I can't take it. And I was like, interesting. Like, I would have never thought that would have been like the thing they cracked down on.
Everyone gets
Focus.
disqualified except for Jay Milley, who signs up at the last second, and Jay Milley becomes the 2025 world champion.
Literally every player is doping.
Dude, and Gannon and Sully have been having such a fun time joking around with that. They're like,
Yo, who's gonna get
and
cut?
and for unforeseen circumstances, Gannon Burr cannot make it to Worlds anymore. It's like they're just being like stupid, like just making up random scenarios.
Like if someone posts on their Instagram, like, "Oh man, I'm not gonna make it to Worlds this year," it's just gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you got drug tested."
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah. So they've been having a ball with that.
I hope someone that gets caught by it or like gets screwed by it or whatever posts on their Instagram and is just like, yeah, I was doing this and that's why I'm not going to Worlds. Like they're just not even.
Well, here's the
they
thing.
just
I guess
say-
it's a
say
year
it straight up.
suspension if you get caught. That's also what I've heard.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why it's a big
Wow.
deal.
Boy, time now.
That's why it's a big
That's
deal.
a lot of money. That's a lot of money lost.
It's a
for
year.
these players.
That's what I've heard. Like another Funsie fact, but I've heard it's literally if you get caught with one of the things that they say no to, it's not just you're done for the event. It's a year suspension.
Wow.
But when we get Doug on, we will have more
Ask
clarification on it.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
say
yeah.
have Doug on, are you talking your other podcast, Staggered Stance, or are you talking here?
Yeah, I'm talking staggered stance, not here. Unless you guys want him on, but
Doug seems like an awesome person to talk to, but I'm sure it would be weird for him to like be on that podcast.
Yeah,
We're asking him the exact same
Funsie.
questions. Yeah.
this is
Hey, Doug,
Funsie.
like
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you
We're
were
just
an
like-
animal, what kind of animal would you be?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, do you ever pick your nose on the tee pad and then throw a shot and whiff it?
Doug, do you use your boogers as chalk?
Yeah, exactly. Yo, do you ever use Head and Shoulders? It smells pretty good. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's pretty bougie. Yeah, dude, I have so many of these. We're already an hour, 5 minutes in, so typically this is
Jeez.
about the time that we would wrap up. But hopefully, listeners also enjoyed last week's episode because that is by far the most heavily edited episode that we've ever had before, and it was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but to try to keep up with the mayhem that was happening, I'm like,
There
we
was
just
a
had
lot
to,
going
we had to,
on.
yeah, cut.
Dude, that was just a day in the life. That's like literally their like that whole crew. They just have fun and are good at disc golf. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so hopefully listeners enjoyed that. I listened back to it and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like it was like more cohesive than I thought. So
Sweet.
yeah, stoked about that. Thank you everyone for listening. As always, we'll have probably answer more of these because, like I said, got so many of them. We could probably spend multiple episodes going through them. So
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
let's
Maybe
continue it next one.
new segment maybe for like each episode where we go through some
Yeah.
of these.
I would love that.
But yeah, until next time, thank you everyone. Funsie out.
Funsie.